Hello YouTube, let's go, let's go. So today I'm going to be talking about the truths on self-improvement no one warned me about, and I know it's going to be a great video. Alright, let's not waste any more time, let's run it. The cost of you staying where you are, I'm going to be laying everything. This is the first point. Now when I speak on regret, the simple story that comes straight to my mind is, I remember I was told a story that I think I was watching a Dave Goggins video one of these days, like back in the day, and it was a video where he was talking about, imagine that you finally make it to heaven, and while you're in heaven, the creator pretty much, he shows you all the things you possibly could have been. He shows you the lives you could have changed. He shows you the business opportunities that you could have had. If he shows you every single thing that you would have been when you realize your full potential. I was someone who regret a lot of things in secondary school. I regretted focusing entirely on academics because I was a book nerd. I was a nerd. It was bad. I cut off my fitness. I cut off my social life. And when I came into university, I made a decision that I was not going to regret cutting out every single thing. I was not going to have that level of regret anymore. And I would hate really that to be anyone watching this video, to be 70, to be 80, to be 90, and you're on your deathbed wishing that probably, like, how I wish that business idea, I actually invested into it. How I wish that baddie that I saw on that day, I actually approached her. How I wish I had hit the gym more. How I wish I had actually sustained more pain regarding to actually me growing. I would hate that to be you. Every single person all gets choices. Like, successful people are not better than you because they're successful. They're successful because they're better than you. I'll repeat that again. Successful people are not better than you because they're successful. They're successful because they are better than you. They made better choices. They made better decisions. And you know the awesome thing about decisions? Each and every single one of us, we all get decisions. I choose the pain. I will choose the pain of wanting to retire my parents. I will choose the pain of wanting to be a man of abundance for my family and my friends. I choose that pain. I will choose the pain of building my YouTube brand. That's the pain I will choose. I would refuse the pain any single time, any single day. I refuse the pain of being comfortable. I refuse the pain of chilling on my bed and being a bee. I refuse that pain of seeing something that I want and not going after it. And what does it look like for you? What choices are you going to make? Because you have to realize this simple thing. You deciding or you not even deciding, it's the same thing. It's still a decision. Whether you decide to embrace the discomfort of actually moving forward towards your goals or staying in the comfort and regret of actually doing nothing with your life, I can assure you, I really can assure you, your decision or your indecision is still a decision. On confidence. Now, it was not doing anything with my life. I also struggle with the way I actually saw myself in the mirror. Every single person, like, I don't, if my mom, my dad, my friends, my guys, those people who are actually close to me, they know I hate taking pictures. Like, oh my days, I always hated taking pictures. And the reason was simply because I couldn't really look at that person on that phone screen and saw someone who deserved love, ever. I just could never really do it. Older, and I realized that every single time that I looked at that person, I saw someone who I did not like. I saw someone who kept on breaking promises to himself. I saw someone who, when he said he was going to try and take more pictures because it was uncomfortable, I didn't do it. When I told myself I was going to try something new, I didn't do it. When I told myself I was going to make more money, I did not do it. When I told myself I was actually going to stop being my dick, I didn't do it. I continued. The point and the moment where everything started changing was the period where I actually took back the power. And I believe that, like, I have the power to change my life. And to someone really watching this, I want to let you know that it might feel like it's hopeless. It might feel like it's destitute, that, like, you are helpless in every situation and every way, shape, or form. But you actually have so much power. I believe that after God, the next most powerful person in your life is you. That's the next most powerful person. And with that said, when I told myself I was gonna try to approach someone, I was gonna approach them because I was also in secondary school, I was also socially awkward. So when I told myself I was going to try and approach someone to improve my people skill, I started doing that. When I told myself that I was going to try and start making more money, I eventually got a job, even after despite having a lot of rejection. When I saw someone who I actually found attractive, a woman that I actually found attractive, and I held my balls and I moved. When I actually moved to actually go talk to them, those tiny little promises, even when I told myself I wanted to improve my looks, I didn't like the way I looked. I want to improve my looks. I want to grow out my facial hair. I want to get better, clear skin. I want to invest into my style. I want to invest into my fashion. I want to get the body that I want. When I started keeping these tiny little promises, my self-esteem genuinely started fixing. The way I started actually seeing myself actually started changing. Whenever you look at the mirror, that person who you see, you know that you could be doing more. You know that this is not your full potential. You know deep down that you could actually be seeking more. You could actually be developing more. And you would stay mediocre, honestly. You would stay unconfident if you actually don't do something about your situation. And remember, you have so much power. There is so much ability in you. There is so much potential in you. At 17-year-old self, I would tell him this straight words like, there is so much power. You have so much potential and so much ability. Next point. This could have been number one, really. Afraid. I was so scared. Fear of the unknown. The fear of what does the future have for me? The fear of what if I don't make my parents proud? The fear of what if I don't live up to my name? Because I won't lie, some days when I actually remember that my name is great, I feel like it's so much of a pressure in my head. Like, even my friends would literally be like, brother, calm down. Like, gee, you think too much, you worry too much. Someone was even telling me like, you probably should like maybe go check yourself for like a mental thing, because I was scared. And the fear actually was crushing me every single day. Up until the moment that I actually told myself like, what am I gonna actually do about something? I know you can probably relate to it. That feeling of being afraid of change, that feeling of being afraid of failure, I realized that I could either stay where I was and keep on bothering about the unknown, keep on worrying, keep on being scared, keep on being afraid, or I could take steps every single day and find out, just one day at a time, having every single day reflect the person I want to be. And I've always said this, like, just have my day reflect the person who I actually wanted to be. And the crazy thing about the whole thing was, the moment I actually started thinking that way, that was actually how I actually started getting the physique. And I was like, I always believe this one thing, success leaves clues. So I was like, if I could probably build my physique this way, maybe my looks can change with this way. Maybe the way I develop myself can change with this way. Success in my head no longer is what can I achieve. Success now in my head is how much pain am I ready to go through? How much pain am I ready to endure? How much pain am I ready to sustain on a day-to-day basis? And that really was when everything started changing. Whatever business, whatever thing really that you are scared to do, I feel like that's a very big indication for you to literally just jump in. And the funny thing I also remember about fear is literally false events appearing real. The more you give it time, the more it's going to keep on growing. So don't give it any time. Instead of actually maybe even approach. The moment you're scared of actually doing a business, do it. I have so many guys, I've spoken to so many of my friends, and they'll keep on telling me, oh, I want to start this business. 3 months have passed by. They keep on still giving themselves excuses. Don't let the fear build up. Do it. Do it scared. Do it afraid. Do it scared. Just make sure you do it. Envious. When I first started posting fitness content, I remember I was speaking to one of my friends, and we had just finished training from the park, and we was taking a walk, and he was in a room where there were so many people talking about me, people who I smile with, people who I laughed around with, and he was like, he heard so much hate from them towards me, that he was like, why? They were saying things like, who does this guy think he is? posting his physique online. What does he think he has? Who does he think he is? I remember asking him like, who are these people? Like, probably like, let me go speak to them, because I was still very, very early in my fitness journey. Me at the time that I felt like I was trying to do good, and people were hating me in their hearts and mind. And luckily for me, genuinely, so I was speaking to this with my roommate. I was like, yo, bro, like, I was wondering like, why is this so? Why is this so? And he was like, and he paid a very clear instance. He was like, yo, imagine you eating chips or junk food right here in this apartment. And now that you're eating chips and junk food, you see someone online with the physique you have, telling you that you should do this, do this, do this. He said, forget that it's actually you for a second and actually just envision the person. And I was like, and for the very first time, I think I caught a little bit of the perspective. And it really it took me back to the point I made in the last video, that every single thing a person says, every single thing a person is saying towards you, 90% of the time is a reflection of them. And I would hate that to be you, unfortunately, that you see someone actually putting in the work. You see someone who's actually on grind, and the only thing you have towards them is hate. The only thing you have towards them is envy. The only thing you have towards them is bitterness. Because you know that you're not actually putting in the work. Because you know that you actually could be also doing what they are doing as well. It's not those who are on top that actually give you any words, any bad comments. It's those who are below you who are doing nothing. Probably somebody who is just chilling, doing nothing with their life. That person will be making slight comments. And I would genuinely hate that to be you. I would. And I'll even give another story. Like, I have a coach right now. I have a coach who makes the money amount that I want to make. He makes that amount. And I could be envious. I really could be. I could be saying, oh, this, that, that. But no, I choose not to be. The reason simply being that, like, even when you are envious of those persons, you mentally restrict yourself from actually even learning from these persons. And that's really what you need. You need people who are better than you. Because if you're I don't want to be, personally, I never want to be the best in the room. I don't want to be the best in the room. I don't want to be the best in the room in any regard, because I want to stay hungry. I want to stay hungry. I want to be starving. It really is the video for today. You would stay regretful, unconfident, afraid, envious, and bitter if you actually don't start putting in the work. If you actually don't start showing up for yourself on a day-to-day basis. And all up from me. See you in the next video. Stay locked in.